Hey guys and gals, Boardnell back with you, and this is going to be my thoughts on episode 9 of season 2 of Ozark. The episode is called The Badger. Full spoilers from the start of this episode, and it's a Snell themed episode because we actually open in the it's either 1960s or 1970s, I forget now, but it basically goes back to Jacob and Darlene first meeting and getting together, and it's sort of a wild, rompy sort of a ride. So it's them sort of as teenagers, and what the flashback does so well is it just shows that they had this sort of Bonnie and Clyde type relationship all the way back then, and I think it just reaffirms then in kind of a poetic sort of way, even though they're totally destructive and in theory they shouldn't be together. I think in another way, in a very extreme way and in their own way, they do love each other and haven't really loved anyone else. So they're probably the only two people who can be with either one of them, if that makes sense. I've probably made a hash of that, but that's what the flashback is for, and it's a massive episode because the episode finally leads to Jacob's demise at the end, and it's one of those episodes where things just finally come to a head because of how extreme and unpredictable Darlene can be. It's something I've liked about their characters is the way they've subverted that. At the beginning, when they were first introduced, you thought Jacob was like the ringleader and he was the one you had to fear, and Peter Mullen is so good at conveying that, a very sort of silent, sort of sinister threat. But it actually turned out that Darlene was the more, out of control, the more sort of malicious one, if you well, malicious is maybe not the right word, but she's the one who you really had to fear, and I think her character has really delivered some great scenes because of that. But the way they've subverted that with them as a couple is really what's made for some great television with the two of them. Jacob, as it turned out, is the more rational type one, but because of this go between them and the cartel over the drugs and the field, and because of how sort of out of control Darlene can be at times, it just meant something had to give. It's almost like one of them had to go, and so there's a twist in this one, and it starts off when Helen and Marty go to Jacob, and they force his hand into like giving up the land, because they say, if you don't give it up, then we've got legal rights to like take it. And Jacob gives in to this, but he still sees that Darlene won't give in to it, and that she's really on edge and is prepared to go to war with the cartel, and he's trying to talk around and say ultimately they will win because they've got the manpower, and there's sort of no way around this. They've got the state on their side. But Darlene isn't having any of it, so Jacob has to or he feels the only way to keep the peace is to kill Darlene. So he has this plan to take her out for a walk and then to kill her in the woods. And I'll just say on this point, even though it seems very extreme and far-fetched, especially being married and all that, it's sort of the one couple where this course of action makes sense and they would sort of go to this sort of lengths. But of course Darlene, I guess, knows him better than anyone, so she sees it coming. And she actually, when they were out walking, well, before they left, she poisoned his coffee, and he's actually the one who ends up dead, not Darlene. So it's a smart little twist, and they do have this weirdly romantic sort of ending where she gives him a speech as he's dying, and it's almost like because of the way he tricked her and all the way she tricked him, and actually turned the tables, it's like she has affection for him. But it's sort of this weirdly beautiful thing where they had this shotgun type relationship from the very start, where they were like really off the walls and unpredictable, and it's lasted all these years, all these decades, and it's sort of when one of them has been killed in Jacob, and it's sort of fitting, and Darlene's actually the one to do it. It's like, in some ways, if Jacob is gonna go, he would want it no other way, and it's a great scene. It's a great cap off to a really strong episode, and probably it's definitely the right decision creative wise, because I think there is so much mileage to get with Darlene being the one who sticks around and just being so unpredictable, and there's some really meaty possibilities now storyline wise for her to rub up against the wrong character or the other characters. So I really like the stuff with the Snells in this episode. Also, on a bird's front, the not Rachel, sorry, I'm getting characters' names wrong in this. Charlotte has got a lawyer and intends to move forward with the emancipation, and Wendy in particular is not taking this. She reacts really strongly and goes after her, and it's trying to play the sort of strong mother figure. You can't do this. You will listen to me. You're my teenage daughter, and of course it's just making Charlotte worse. And Marty tries to point that out to Wendy, who isn't really having any of it. And the upshot to this is then, with the casino bill basically passing in this episode, there's this scene where they go to the gamekeeper, or I forget the name, but whatever the name is, and they sort of have to agree to non-union to get it passed, and that's what they do. But that's obviously going to have further developments with the Kansas City Mafia. So Frank, their boss, isn't going to be too happy, but to get the bill passed they have to do that, so that's what they do. But just the stuff with Charlotte is the Marty, as soon as the bill is passed, he starts setting up a plan for them to leave as soon as the casino is up and running. And this again shows some of the differences between him and Wendy, because I think Marty has always thought big picture, and once we got this up and we'd made enough money, then we would go and live our lives. Whereas I think Wendy has got more and more into the manure of it, and sort of feels, I can do this, I can do that, and sort of just keeps thinking bigger and bigger, and there's almost no sight in the end. But Marty does, when the bill gets passed, he starts thinking, I think it's time to move on, and he just has the plan to as soon as the casino is up and running, to move away, including potentially to Australia, which makes a lot of sense. Another country would make it easier for the cartel not to be able to find them. So the plan is to sort of slip away as soon as the casino is up and running. But of course, the stuff going on with Charlotte is, potentially putting that at risk. So interesting stuff in the Birds family. By the way, Ruth agrees to run the casino when they decide to leave, so it's almost like win-win with that scenario, because Marty puts it to her that she can, if the cartel come around and ask, she can just plead ignorance, sort of thing. So there's that stuff. And speaking of Ruth, there's stuff with Wyatt and Cade where they actually rob somewhere. I think it's the casino, but it's they rob somewhere anyway, and obviously the thing there is Wyatt's getting involved in a life of crime, which is concerning Ruth, and she tries to return the money later on. But also in this episode, Wyatt gets into college, which is a big moment, and it's what Ruth has been pushing him to do and get out of the life of crime. And at the end of the episode, he's weighing up his decisions, Wyatt that is, because he's not too sure if college is really his future. I think because of the death of his father and brother, he's very conflicted, and his question, is this the right thing? And once again, Ruth's sort of caught in the middle a bit, or trying to maneuver Wyatt away from the life of crime, but also away from Cade. I think you see the different stages that their family are at, where Cade is like a lost cause and is like a complete monster, and I think Ruth, it's sort of funny that she's playing the mother, so to speak, a figure, and is a much better parent than Cade has ever been, or from what we've seen anyway. But yeah, and Ruth sort of stuck in the middle. So it's interesting stuff and pinnacle stuff. Now, if I had to guess, I would say Wyatt probably won't choose college, just because you sort of figure he's going to hang around and be part of the drama. But who knows? It might go the other way. So that's Ozark once again, episode 9 of season 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, share me out on social media, and I'll be back with more Ozark soon.